Now, welcome to the Pirate Round. Now, I be Captain Scoltopus. This be the Scarlet Raven, and thank you for joining us aboard our ship, the Carrion Crow. And we say to you now, Skål!
Yar.
So, we're here with our friends, Captain Ann Bernie, Polly Pirate, Bill G. Rat, and Captain Bartholomew Roberts. And of course they've got their accoutrements on them, their hats, and they look very piratical. And so this is episode 1, and we'd like to talk to you now about things that you might find aboard ship.
Or at least aboard our ship here, the good Carrion Crow table.
That be it. And now, many things. First of all, we'll talk about why we like pirates.
Well, you know, pirates have... I don't know when it was when I started liking pirates. It might have been 30, 40 years ago or so. Yes, I'm that old. I'm as old as pirates, you might say. But I started liking them, and I haven't stopped liking them since. And I think it's about the freedom and being on a ship and the camaraderie and the equalness that they offered amongst themselves. And the tyranny of government, as we all know. Government can be a real tyranny.
True.
What about you?
Well, I'll say this now. I've always had loved history. And pirates, of course, you know, their history spans everything from the ancient days with the noble Greeks and the Romans, and all the way through the Norse, and all the way up through the 1500s and the 1600s, and all the way up to the Golden Age, or what we call the Golden Age of piracy, which would be about 1700 to 1720 or 30, and even beyond that there with the noble John Lafitte the pirate in the 1800s and so. And I've always loved this span of history, and I love geography and maps, and everything about that seems to go together there in the piracy realm. So I've always been interested in them, and I've always found them fascinating characters full of legend and lore. And so together now we'd like to put together this blog, for we're talking about many things piratey, and we're talking about our interest in piracy and about the various things we've put together on this table. So first we'll start there with pirate weapons.
So up front we've got two fine flintlock pistols. One is a right-hander, one is a left-hander. One actually belongs to Captain Scoltopus here. The other one, the left-hander, is for me. For this hand, for I fight with a gun in this hand, any sword, me cutlass in this hand. But then I have the other pistol over there, which is a right-handed pistol. So if I wanted to, I could be a two-fisted shooter.
Makes sense. You fight with one hand, a pistol in one hand, and a cutlass in the other now.
Now, one thing I want to talk about with pistols is you see a lot of people carrying their pistols in what you might call a holster or a bandolier. Now, actually what pirates did when they prepared for a fight is they would put them on what they called a ribbon. They would tie two guns together, and one on one end, one on the other, drape it over their shoulders, and then they might even do that with a second pair. So they had 4 guns. They could shoot one, shoot the other, drop them, grab the next, shoot it, grab the next, shoot it, and that way they weren't pulling out of a holster. They were right there dangling, and then they could just get rid of it. A lot of people, though, like I said, you see them wearing them in a holster or a bandolier, and the actual correct way that pirates would have carried them when they were ready for a fight was on the ribbon.
Well, that way, or perhaps they were stuck into a sash. You know, they would have a sash around their waist, and many times, you know, your cutlass would be hanging off a belt, and that's all you'd have is just a belt that the cutlass would be hanging off of, and then you'd tie yourself a fine sash about your waist and stick a brace of pistols in there. And the great thing about these pistols, you know, of course, is how once you fire them, well, they make a pretty handy club too, don't they?
Aye, they do.
And so you can swing about you, wheeling about, swinging them as a club to cold cock people as they come near.
Let me reach around here to Captain Bartholomew.
You better get Bartholomew Roberts' pistol now. He's not too happy about it. You've taken his pistol and he's bowing his head in shame. Let's see.
What you're talking about is like that.
That's right. So after you'd fired this here pistol, yeah, you'd cock it. And everyone wants to know, you know, that's half cock. You know, to say, Oh, we've gone off half cocked. Oh, it didn't work. Now, so you want to take it to full cock. All the way to the end.
And then you drop your
close your striker, and then of course you'd fire your pistol that way. Now, once you've discharged it into the face of a buffoon coming at you, why, you'd want to swing it around and lay about you either way to clear a path onto the ship. Isn't that right?
That would hurt. You could bust that up against somebody's noggin or their jaw or whatever, and that will hurt.
That's a fight stopper right there. We say that.
Sorry there, Bartholomew.
Oh,
I will give you your pistol back.
He's got
Come
quite
on over
upset
here and have
now.
a drink of me pirate punch.
Quite good you've made that.
Yes, there'll be pirate punch in here.
There'll be quite a bit of pirate punch now. And say, as we make our way down our list in our book of grudges, we've got to items aboard ship. And so we'll start with, here's the thing to start with, tackle. Well, now tackle, once you secure booty from a ship, now you'd want to go ahead and lash it on and bring it over to yours, unless you're going to save that ship or sinker, dependent. So you have your tackle here, and your tackle's for swinging your booty over to the other ship. And you want to make everything fast. You don't want things looking lubberly. And so you'd close off and you'd make a rope's end across there.
Now that not be a hangman's noose.
No, of course not it. But this be a rope's end, and what they say. So you'd be taking a way to close off the end of the rope, so that this your line won't be breaking loose and causing any mischief aboard ship. And so one of the things you'd be bringing across with you, well, would be a chest like young Polly is sitting upon. It'd be full of your booty. That'd be saying they didn't have no fancy suitcases back then, no. It was all wooden chests, isn't that right?
That be.
Yeah.
And crates and barrels.
Crates, barrels, and every other things. Of course, we have a barrel here.
And if you'd be wondering what's in this barrel, it actually have some rum in it.
Oh.
I will show you. Well, this doesn't show you very well, but I would show you, but this isn't clear, so I can't really show you, but this does have, in fact, have rum in it.
Well, we'll pour some later as we get along. And now, making our way over, you've got your lantern. And so your lantern, a fire aboard ship, is one of the greatest fears that a sailor would have. Ships being made of wood and covered in tar and caulking and lines and sails everywhere and wax. And so you'd want to have a way, though, to light your way below decks. And so you'd want your lantern with the your light inside it protected, so that no stray flame would get out and everything. And so it was so important that on the pirate articles now, it'd be saying no flame uncovered below decks, anywhere near the powder magazine or anywhere near the rum storage, on pain of death. For those who would kick about a flame down below decks would be so I'd say they'd be so incautious as to invite the death of the entire crew and ship, say, if that happened. And so if that happened, why, they'd take you out and deal with you.
Face you with the wrath of the cat.
That's right.
Or even keelhaul you.
Yeah. Any way like that, be a punishment from the entire crew. So moving right along now.
So right here we have the skull of our enemy.
First mate. Not much to say now. First mate.
He tried to mutiny against the captain here.
Mutiny,
so
say ye?
He turned him into a scum. The skull. He's quite the scum.
Mutiny.
And we put a candle on it to light the table here.
Not too mutinous are you now, first mate? Very little to say. Below decks do you have? Well, good.
It's going over. We got a little bit of sailcloth over here. A little canvas. We'll be making sails of that sometime soon, maybe.
That'd be our booty purse. And that'd be a bit of a way to carry our coins here and there. And so, and of course it's got our logo on it. That of the Carrion Crow. The Blood Raven.
We got some coins here. Now these be replica coins. Getting a real coin would be quite a feat. And these coins we'll be talking about in future episodes. But that'd be a good treasure there. One of the richest finds, as you may know, was Sam Bellamy's The Widow, filled with lots of these coins, doubloons and reals and other nice coins. What be this?
What be it now?
You don't want to be staring into the face of this. This be a cannon. Now, this is a cannon that a fine craftsman made us. It doesn't shoot, but it'd be a nice replica. It's kind of fun. This would be what you'd have on board your ship. It could be small, maybe 6-pounders, could be a 9-pounder, could be 12-pounder. And in the Royal Navy, she probably has something much bigger than that, 32-pounder, things like that. Quite a devastating blow that would deal. Crews would practice loading and firing off. That way they got real good and quick to make sure that when they got into a fight that they could load and fire off quickly. But pirates didn't necessarily always like to fight. It was better to scare the enemy and then get them to surrender. Blackbeard was notorious for that.
He was. And I will be doing an old episode here when we talk about guns of various types. The old primitive type that the Spanish had, the culverins they would call them, and even mortars, and even long and short different types of guns that they would have aboard ship. And we'll talk all about that. Because, you know, being important though, the pirates, you know, on the attack upon a ship, well, they would have time maybe perhaps for one giant broadside, and then they would board. And of course, your other weapons come into play when you board that ship there to take it, because you don't necessarily want to sink your prey now, do you? You want to steal everything you've got off it.
And you might want to take his ship.
And you might want to take their ship too, and make it your own, make it your consort, as they would say, and so sail about with 2 ships, so you've got your beginnings of a pirate fleet. And so, then again, we've got our friend Bilge. Now, Bilge is a bilge rat. Now, every ship worth its darn had plenty of bilge rats in there, and they were to keep the bilges clean, and to keep the ship clean themselves, and eating all the despicable things that people thrown about so the rats could survive and move from island to island, and thus populate many of the islands there in the warm tropics with many, many more rats. And you can see he's quite big. He's been eating quite a lot of gunk in her.
And drinking rum.
And drinking rum. He's been eating quite a lot of gunk in the bilges.
Now you also might want to call somebody a bilge rat, but Bilge, he doesn't like being called a bilge rat. He is Bilge rat.
Bilge rat now. And of course we've got Pirate Polly. Now why would you say that so many pirates would have a parrot upon them? Seems a funny pet, you know. But it represents the fact that they had moved from the old world over to the new. And in the new they found many strange creatures that might be different than what they had seen there in Yarp. And so they would say that they'd found these beautiful, colourful parrots that lived many long years and would perch upon their shoulders or upon their heads. And it was a symbol that they had been somewhere different. That they had been somewhere colourful and exciting and beyond the reach of the filthy old stinky European cities that filled with disease and dogs and cats and the types. And they'd gone to the sun tropics and they'd been kissed by the sun and the warm winds, and they'd come back with a beautiful bright creature. Polly being that sort of creature now, wouldn't you say?
He's a one-eyed pirate though. He's got his pirate patch.
Well, she's got her pirate patch in. Well, you know, the thing is even pirates can lose their eyes in a fight.
Now, we don't have any monkeys. You might be familiar with Captain Barbossa from the Pirates of the Caribbean. He had a monkey. We don't like monkeys. Monkeys are filthy. Don't like them things. No, we don't.
They climb around, but I know they may be fun for some, but aboard our ship, aboard the Carrion Crow, we don't care for monkeys that much.
Okay.
No.
We've got our magnifying glass, our anchor magnifying glass here. This so we can look at the finer things. If we want to look at the detail of this here coin, oh, look at the depth.
Seems a fine coin, I say.
It's a fine coin.
It is a fine coin.
It seems good.
Oh yeah, it's not a. That'd be a cob, you know. The coins minted in the New World sometimes quite crudely. And all folks are taking a look at our map
now,
too.
Captain, what be that thing? Because I don't know how to use it.
Well, you don't know how to use it there because it's a learned skill now.
I don't navigate.
Navigation be upon many things, and that's the way we find our way across these maps. We use a compass, and we use a riser and dividers in the sight, so that we can find our way from one place to another using these various types of navigation tools. And navigation tools were worth their weight in gold upon every pirate ship. To find your way around, many would go dead reckoning, they would say, but often the dead reckoning you would end up dead, washed up on an island or crashed into some shoals. So as you had found your way about, you'd be using a navigation device and finding your way using your chart. And this would be your chart here. And then you would start out and you would gauge your way and you gauge your distance and take your speed using your log there aboard your ship. And then you would find your way around your map. And this old map now, it's quite a map, I tell you. It's from the old world. It's an old world map. And it shows the world as we imagine it to be many times and places. And it shows a great deal of wear and tear because she's been from many ships and many places. And it shows the world kind of in the detail that we imagined it would be. This being, of course, the Spanish Main, where the Spanish be spreading their influence all across, and you'll be sailing there. And then, of course, you've got the Horn of Africa, where you sail around the Cape of Good Hope and around the Horn, over to Pirate's Paradise there in Madagascar, where they'd be taking many Mogul ships. And that's what the pirate round was now. It'd be coming out from New York, sailing down into the Caribbean to pick up provisions, sailing across to Africa to perhaps take a few ships over there and take provisions again, and then sailing around the Cape of Good Hope, the tip of Africa there, up to the Pirate's Paradise over in the area of Madagascar over there, where you would provision yourself again and perhaps pick up a few more men, and then you would sail north into the great Indian Ocean, where you'd take ships there with the great Mogul fleet. And then you would find your booty or you'd find your death, either one. But if you did find your booty, well, you'd be set for life. And then, of course, you'd sail all the way back over here to New York. And then you would,
like Captain Kidd.
Just like Captain Kidd. As I was saying now, I just like the doomed Captain Kidd now as he came back. So, that's be the pirate round. And now we have another piece of very valuable equipment here. And that be your look-far glass, and you'll be trying to see what that yon ship is.
It'd be a sail on the horizon, Captain.
See now what it would be, a Spanish ship, or a Frenchy, or perhaps a man of war. Well, you'd be able to tell either quick if you're going to fight or you're going to flee. And contrary to popular belief, you know, not every pirate wanted to fight. Sometimes they wanted to flee and fight another day, and to have a look-far glass, why, it'd be crucial. So we'll consult our book of grudges here, and we'll see what we're going to talk about today.
Oh, we have our cutlasses too.
Oh, cutlasses, you see that. So, and now we've been pirate arms and weaponry, as you can see, we've already brought that up a bit. But we'll be going in more in depth in that, talking about our various guns and our swords and the like. And then we talk about treasure, booty and coins, and the historical significance of the many things that they have found in all the treasure wrecks. Because they've found many things, and then of course that leads to the various history aspects of the ships that they have taken and the booty they have, and you learn a lot about history in that way by the various valuables taken from other ships by pirates. And then we're going to move on and talk about pirate games and such. Now these be distractions aboard ship, be quite important there.
Even distractions amongst our pirates out there in YouTuber land.
Over in YouTuber land now, the pirate distractions that we found, all the pirate games, we'll be talking about there because most be games of strategy. And as everyone knows, the games of strategy be very important for when you'll be taking many ships there upon the high seas. You want to have a good strategy for taking them. And then we move along to pirate movies. Now, pirates of course would not have a movie, but we'll bring it in that we say that many pirate movies, or what we know about today, and the images of pirates come from movies. And so we'll be talking about those movies that have become very influential. Everything since the old black and white movies, all the way to the hallowed Saint Robert Newton and the way he talked, and all the way up to the most recent TV shows of black sails and Pirates of the Caribbean. And then we move on.
Who knows? Maybe Jack Sparrow may visit us.
Who knows?
We'll never know.
We know him. He may come around. And now next we talked there about pirate music and how important the pirate music is.
No grave but the sea?
No grave but the sea.
Keelhauled.
Keelhauled.
Rum. That's from one band.
Yes, there's many bands. Now we'll be talking about music because of course pirate music be very important. Aboard ship on the long voyages while musicians would play, and they would keep the crew entertained and keep them from cutting each other's throat on long voyages, and it'd be very important to have various kind of musicians playing and singing. Now, talking like a pirate. Now everyone knows that it's very important to talk like a pirate if you're going to be a pirate. You don't want to come up there to talk to the other pirates and say, "Hello, partner, I tell you right now, I'm on this here pirate ship and me and the boys are gonna take that yonder galleon." No, you don't want to be talking like that, okay? That's not the way you want to do it. So, we're going to talk about the various things that you could talk like pirates. And, you know, the thing is with all the African-American pirates there were, they must have taken a lot of their Caribbean patois into the words and they put some words in. And there'd be Spanish pirates and French pirates and the
Dutch pirates.
Dutch pirates. And they've all taken bits and pieces of their language and put it in there so that we have pirate talking. And that's here pirate talking in language, why it'd be very unique. Very important now. We'll be talking about legends, myths, and lore. Krakens. We'll be talking about sail of the seas and the mysteries found, ghost ships and ghosts. And
Davy Jones.
Davy Jones's lockers. All sorts of legends. All sorts of lore. Very important in pirate because they would, a very superstitious lot, you know. And so they always had their stories that would go on and on and on. And let's see. What do we have here, Scarlet Raven?
Pirate art and pictures.
Yes.
And even comics and other visuals. Now there'll be some really fine pirate art out there. And we'll be talking about some of the artists. We feature some of them on an occasion on the Pirate Round Book of Faces site. So if you be a follower of the Book of Faces site, you'll be seeing some of that art that we be digging up. And some of the artists, sometimes when we don't have something to talk about on the Pirate Round on this notorious day of pirate history or other fanciful things that we might talk about, we'll post a piece of pirate art that fancies us and suits us and that we like. And you know, if you've got a suggestion, let us know.
Then there's that. So, now next it be rules and duties of the crew. Now, of course, everyone believes that the pirate captain, well, he ruled with an iron hand, but that's not true. The real ruler of the pirate ship was the quartermaster. And the captain, he only was in command, or she only was in command, during the chase and the fight. After that, it fell to the quartermaster and the mates to divide up everything equally. The captain
but let's not talk too much about that right now, Captain.
Well, the captain to take 2 shares, and the others to take 1.5 shares, and we say that later. Pirate leaders and pirate hunters. Well, what would it be? Pirates without famous pirate types. And we'd be talking about Blackbeard and Captain Kidd and the like.
Captain Kidd and Charles Vane and John Gow and Bonnie Mary Read, and those are just a few.
Black Bart. Many of them. We'll be talking more about them.
And some of the others.
How you be now? Your stomach and all.
I need more rum.
Well, we'll get
some. I need pour punch.
We'll get some in a bit. So, last but certainly not least, famous pirate vessels and fleets of the high seas. And we'll be talking about, of course, everyone knows Blackbeard's ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge. But there'll be many, many more ships upon here, very famous types that we'll be talking about. And we'll be talking about the types of ships, of course. Your sloops, your coastal sloops, your barks, your brigantines, your frigates and the like.
The galleon,
many of them. And we'll be talking about the different types of ships and the importance. And so we put this here in the Book of Grudges and we write down that we've finished that. We close it and we say, at this time, my friends, thank you for joining us on the Pirate Round. And we pour us here a drink for those absent. There's Scarlet Raven. Will you pour us some out of there?
Let me move your first mate.
That's very little to say now, do you, first mate? Oh, mutiny, you say. Wanted a booty, you say. Want an extra share, you say. You don't say much. There. Now this we say, rum to ya. And we say to all our friends, Yar har, and have the bit of rum. Been in the keg too long with Bill G.